Hello and welcome to the official EstablisherRun.com betting show, playoff edition. My name is Adam Levitan, as always, joined by the king himself, Evan Silva, also joined by Mark from Cincinnati, Mark Dankenbring. The playoffs are here, gentlemen. Playoffs are here, and I think that's a good thing for the actual football bros, the people who actually like football, like Evan. It is not a great thing for bettors, I don't think, or at least people trying to win, because there's a lot more eyes on these games. Books can be a little bit sharper. They've been a little bit tighter on their props and stuff like that. I think we've all noticed that a little bit. Only 6 games to look at. Evan, happy playoffs.
Yes, yeah. And, earlier today I received a collect call from Sing Sing Correctional. And there was a voice on the other end that I hadn't heard in a while, and so I accepted. And you guessed it was Billy W., the real deal. The one and only Billy Walters. He asked, how's the family? And I told him, the kids, they're growing up. They're getting old. And he said the word's been getting around the yard that we were getting hot betting overs. And so he wanted to share in our success. And so he gave me a lead pipe lock for the wild card round. And I can't wait to share Billy's lock with our listeners.
Wow. What an intro. Billy. Yes. Unbelievable. Mark, what a slate we have here in front of us. 6 games. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yeah, I'm pumped for it. Just after the season of, COVID and injury riddled, it seems like we kind of have a clean slate upcoming. I'm pumped. The only thing I've got coming my way, not some, God-given overs from Billy Walters, but I've got some Skyline chili being sent to me by Amazon, and going to make some Skyline chili dip heading into the Bengals game tomorrow. Should be a good time.
Skyline chili is really controversial, right? Why is it? Some people say it's terrible. Some people swear by it. Where's the truth?
Well, so it's like thin chili that you put on top of typically spaghetti, which is not common. Usually you're eating like a thicker chili over a macaroni noodle. And then it has some cinnamon and chocolate in it, are kind of like the 2 ingredients. So if you grow up eating it, you love it. It's just like a hometown food. You grow up eating it, you love it. But my parents from St. Louis, they don't like Skyline kind of thing. But I did bring some Skyline chili dip over to Adam's house. He got to try it, and I think he had a positive review.
No, it was terrible. It was terrible.
I don't know. Nice, I guess.
I personally don't like mixing my meat with chocolate. I mean, that's just me. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe that's an off-base take. Anyways.
Yeah.
Anyways, boys. Okay, so we're going to get into the 5,000 gold star can't lose locks of the week now. Mark, I'll give you the honors here first. Go ahead and make your first selection, Mark.
Cool. This game I think is the least desirable one from a watchability standpoint. So obviously got to place some money on it, to increase the interest here. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs minus 12.5. I think this is just kind of looking at the board and seeing how the Chiefs played the Steelers the other week. It almost seems like a little bit of an obvious bet. Big Ben, not too confident about his abilities to lead the Steelers to a victory, apparently. I just think the Chiefs are going to overmatch the Steelers here. The Steelers are just bad. We said all season Big Ben is bad. And so I just looked into it a little bit to kind of see where he fell this season among quarterbacks. His 6.2 yards per attempt on the season ranks 28th among 32 qualifiers. He's behind Daniel Jones and Jared Goff, just ahead of Sam Darnold and Zach Wilson. So sandwiched between, a pretty not so great group of quarterbacks there. And then in DVOA, he is behind Davis Mills, Baker Mayfield, and Taylor Heineke, which is Football Outsiders quarterback ranking. So just a brutal season out of Ben. Don't think they're going to be able to produce much offensively. Earlier in the week, I bet Pittsburgh under 16.5 points as well at plus 100. That's now up to about minus 120 at most spots. And then, I just think the Chiefs at Arrowhead control this. They have a great defensive line, obviously, with Chris Jones. I think Chris Jones might be one of the most underrated players in the NFL. Love when he's out there. Should be getting after Ben. It's Brandon Thorne put up his DLO line mismatch, and the Chiefs over the Steelers is one of his top ones of the week. So I just think they're going to be able to control this game. Patrick Mahomes going to come out, I think, with his foot on the pedal. Tyreek and Kelsey are both healthy, and they were not healthy in this first matchup when the Chiefs routed it. So I just think, there's a big discrepancy in terms of talent among the teams. And I'm just going to go with the Chiefs here.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question the Chiefs are going to win the game. The question is, can Ben Dorr get in the back door? Not to be sexual, can he get in the back door, cover the spread? Can Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers put enough points? I think that the Chiefs are really likely to score 25 plus here. How many can the Steelers score? But I think we're all in agreement that the Chiefs are going to play a dominant form of football here with these big lines. Typically it's going to come down to, can they fit some type of fourth quarter comeback into the range? So yeah, if I would gun to my head, I think Chiefs also. But I think it will probably be a fourth quarter sweat, whether they actually cover or not. All right, Evan, let's hear what Billy had to say. Our good friend Billy Walters. What did he have to say?
Yeah. All right. Well, Chris Godwin on IR with a torn ACL. Antonio Brown hanging with Uber drivers and Money May. Cyril Grayson is doubtful. Mike Evans is going to get Darius Slay. So we're going to go back to this well. And, a few weeks ago, I liked Tyler Johnson against Carolina, and he somehow ran like 35 routes and was not targeted. Okay. But in the 3 games surrounding that goose egg, he's drawn at least 6 targets in each of them. He has gone over his 33.5-yard prop in 2 of them. Last week, he played 87% of the Bucs offensive snaps. And here it sets up like, I don't know, how would he come off the field? I mean, I think he's going to be on the field a ton against Philadelphia. We talked about on the Establish the Show that the way that you attack Philadelphia is in the middle of the field, guys that are running routes against their linebackers. Obviously, Gronk has an incredible matchup. If the Eagles are smart, they should double team Gronk like this entire game. Leonard Fournette is another way that the Buccaneers can attack the linebacking core for Philadelphia, but so is Tyler Johnson. That's one of the advantages of being a slot receiver. You don't always get covered by a cornerback. You're running routes in the middle of the field. You get picked up by a linebacker. You're more athletic than that linebacker, and you can create some separation. And there's a weather element to this game. There's expected to be winds of 20 to 30 miles per hour. Tyler Johnson does not run a high ADOT route tree, and therefore, I could just see Tom Brady firing off a lot of short passes in this game, and Tyler Johnson being on the receiving end, 33.5 receiving yards. Come on. We should be able to get this.
Okay. Actually, while we were on the show, it went from 33.5 to 34.5. So
all right, I still like it.
Market is on.
Get it now.
Market is on Tyler Johnson. I saw some guys in our Discord. By the way, if you're a subscriber, you're not in our Discord, you're missing out, not just from us getting in there and talking and trying to help and releasing what we take, but also just people helping each other out in there. And I think some of the guys in Discord were just talking about taking Tyler Johnson overs. All right. My pick is not going to take a lot of explanation. If you walked into a bar right now, 100 people were in there, and you asked them, who's going to cover between the Bucs and the Eagles on Sunday? 100 of them would say the Bucs. Tom Brady, of course, right? However, not only has this line not moved, this line has actually gone down. It was 8.5. I saw some 9s. Now I see some 8s out there. Okay. And so I don't have a case for how the Eagles match up horribly here. I don't really have a case for how the Eagles can win this game, can keep it close. I just know that when everybody, the public, the donkeys, my freaking mom, everybody, I mean, even people in Philly are giving the Eagles no chance, that's when I want to be on the other side. And so shout out to me, your former King GPP bro, your King Contrarian. I'm going to go with Eagles. Hopefully you can get the 8.5. You might be able to get 9 by kickoff, man. Like these playoff games, the public can come out and steam them really hard. Like you might be able to grab a 9. Not that 9's a big number or anything like that, but 8.5, 9, I think on the Eagles makes a lot of sense just from a strict fade the public perspective. All right, back to Mark.
Yeah, we could pretty much cut Evan's opening, little explanation for his last bet and just pin it to mine right here. And I'm going to go with Tom Brady's, trusted old partner, and that's Rob Gronkowski over 5.5 catches. It's up to plus 120 on Caesars. It's floating between like plus 105 and plus 120 at every book. We have 5.6 projected. And down the stretch, it's been pretty interesting without Godwin and now Antonio Brown in the lineup, that Gronk has really commanded more targets than Mike Evans down the stretch. So, I think he's deserving of a higher target projection, and that's how we have it. And then, the Eagles, just matchup wise, have allowed the third most targets to tight ends this season and the most catches on the season. And so with the weather, and the matchup, I think Brady's just going to be looking Gronk's way quite a bit in this one. Obviously, 6 catches is a decent amount, but I like the payout at plus 120. We are projecting a slight over, and us on the show, we're not taking minus 150 bets just to pad the record. We want to make some money out here, so I'm going to go with Gronk over 5.5 catches plus 120.
I think there's like some stuff that is hard for us to bake into projections. In other words, what if it's the playoffs, all the chips are in the middle? Is Tom Brady's first read Rob Gronkowski, his second read Rob Gronkowski, his third read Rob Gronkowski? Maybe, right? I mean, not only does he have the best matchup, but also he trusts Tom Brady the most. Obviously, they're missing a lot of guys. I know Evan talked about Tyler Johnson already, but he doesn't have the same level of trust in Tyler Johnson as he does Mike Evans, Rob Gronkowski. So I think target shares could, in theory, condense harder around Gronk and Mike Evans here than maybe we have it projected, and that would make it look like a even better bet than what we have. All right, Evan, do you have a second play? Has Billy called you in the interim since we started doing this show?
No.
Okay.
But I did want to mention that Bruce Arians had a quote today I just read before we started the show. Leonard Fournette is going to be a game time decision, but if he is active, then he's going to carry the bulk of the load. So, he's going to play and he's going to carry the bulk of the load. It would be my takeaway from that statement from Bruce Arians.
Yep, totally agree. Yeah, I mean, we have Leonard Fournette projected as one of the best plays on the slate. All right, I am going to go to a long shot market here. If you have access to DraftKings and you go to playoff specials, they have this market called most points scored in the playoffs. So just straight up, who scores the most points in the playoffs, period. The Kansas City Chiefs are minus 105. I mean, I don't know where they got this line from. I mean, not only are they assuming that the Chiefs are going to play in the most games, or at least play in 3 games, but they're also assuming that the Chiefs are going to score the most, right? So it's a crazy parlay at minus 105 when you have this huge field, 14 teams that are in the mix. So when they misprice something, in my opinion, like that at minus 105, there's going to be value elsewhere. My favorite was the Bills at 12-1. Now they're down to 9-1. I think it's okay at 9-1. But how about the Bengals? Mark's Bengals, our Bengals, Joe Burrow's Bengals at 18-1. Now, this first game against the Raiders is one of the clean weather games of the weekend. It's also a spot where you could see Joe Burrow and the offense have a huge game. And then if they win, there's a good chance they play Tennessee, another game that they can win, right? They'd only be like a 3-point dog or something in Tennessee in the next round, maybe 3.5. And so they can win that game too. And now you're looking at maybe you get 3 games out of the Bengals, one of the best offenses in the league, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and now you're talking about 18-1 to score the most points in the playoffs. So yeah, it's a long shot. I just think with the Chiefs mispriced, in my opinion, at minus 105, there's some value on some of the other teams. I think Bills at 9-1. Wish we got that 12-1, but 9-1 is okay. Dallas at 10-1, I think, is okay. And Bengals at 18-1 would be my favorites there. Oh, Adrian just popped in to let you know, Evan, the good people at FanDuel have Tyler Johnson at 28.5. Always remember to do your line shopping, folks.
Yeah.
Always remember to do your line shopping. All right. We've said it all for playoff betting show. Appreciate you all being here for these 5,000 Gold Star Locks of the Weekend calls from Billy Walters. I'll be back on Monday with Cody for a showdown breakdown of Rams Cardinals. Hopefully get some props in on that game before that show. For Evan, for Mark, for Billy in Sing Sing, I am Adam. Good luck, everybody.